The following is a fan-based discussion. All properties discussed are property of Toei Inc., Bandai, Hasbro, and Tsuburaya Productions. Would you like to begin this one?
Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to a Tokutalk. Last month was Gay Pride Month. We missed that. So now welcome to Gay Wrath Month. Everything is angry. We're pissed off. And we're just going to do a video on just, the community in Toku. We sort of done a video like this before. But this time we're going to go into a little bit more of the tropey fashion and what they've done. In
Tropes and also characters as a whole, I think.
Yes. I'm a sort of that is not a saying that anybody does ever.
It is now.
You mentioned to me before, and I want you to sort of bring this up first. Okay. Some of the tropes that you've noticed in Toku coming into this.
Well, to begin with is one of characterization, and that's that very few characters in Toku are explicitly queer, but I think there are certainly some that can be read that way, and if you told me that you read a certain character as queer, I wouldn't say that you're wrong.
We've had a good...
Because they never say one way or another if they are.
They don't say it, it's more just in action. Looking at like three of them. We got the donut shop owner from Wizard. Mm-hmm. And we have Guy and Raya, yeah. And the Ryuki, Rider Time Ryuki special. Those are like the big three that are just like, hey, here you go. Enjoy. And Nue is his whole other thing that I'm sort of going to get into a little bit later. But yeah.
Others that I think could fit this category, I think, are Eiji and Ankh from O's.
You could definitely
I think if you wanted to read them as queer, I wouldn't argue if you did. I personally don't, but I read a lot of Toku characters as ace because their sexuality is never really...
Their sexuality is justice.
It's justice. That is... We can just end the video right there, because I think you just summed it up perfectly. It never comes up, and it's never explicitly stated, so it tends to be just read as, like, very sexless for the most part.
Yeah.
So,
which I guess is sort of the point in, like, a kid show like this. But even still.
Sexuality is justice. That's, like, the most Toku thing. It's the most perfect thing. It's... Wow. So perfectly stated. Congratulations.
Thank you. But yeah, you didn't have characters like that. You can... I don't know if it's a direction thing in some cases, or a writer thing. It could be a mixture of both, but...
I think in this case it's more of a writer thing. Because when it comes to directors in Toku, a lot of directors just tend to be day players. That they've worked in the industry for a long time. They know, they go through the motions, they know what to do. And... Because usually it is the writer. With television especially, it's the writer, it's the showrunner, the producers. They're the ones who are pushing the show and steering the ship in a particular direction.
I think nowadays, that happens more.
It's the second saying you've invented.
I will just, yes.
You're on a roll.
Nowadays they'll do it more often. I think when you went a little bit older, and I'm going to bring up Kuga here, it does end up falling on the director. Because when you have, basically... the secondary character, the cop from Kuga waking up on Joe's lap, that's more a direction thing than a writing thing. And, like, neither one of them really acknowledge it. It just happens. And I'm sitting here like, oh, you could easily read into this in this show. I haven't brought up the big one yet, but I'm going to say that for the end because I'm going to go on a little bit of a tangent about them.
Go ahead.
No, I mean, because you said you had some other ones, and I sort of want to say that one because it's sort of big. Because it's happening right now.
As far as characters, one of the big ones that I want to bring up is Kozuki from Garo VR.
Oh yes,
yes. Kozuki, the character is non-binary. They identify as genderless. The model.
Oh okay, yeah.
Who do you think I was talking about?
I read it like you said, and I was like.
There's a couple of characters in Garo VR I do want to bring up, but the first one is Kozuki. Kozuki being a non-binary character in the way that their modeling career and their beauty is how they want to leave their legacy behind. And that, I think, was one of the more compelling aspects about them, especially when we get towards the end of the show.
Yeah. It was
when they launch their fashion line at the end, and they're giving like a little press conference when they're standing in front of their clothes, and they're talking about how they want this, like, this is what they want to leave behind. I want to leave something beautiful behind. And it's a pretty powerful moment. Great performance. I just really like that character.
To be fair, that show was just pretty much a great
I
performance.
mean, I've been saying, since I watched it, how much I will sing the praises of that show forever.
Found out the other day why we haven't gotten a new season, but we'll talk about that after.
Okay. Another aspect of Garo VR that I want to go. This is one where it's never explicitly stated, but I certainly read their relationship.
You could really read it.
I read this relationship as queer, and it was, I don't remember the characters' names, dang it, but it was one of them was like the former gang member who ran the bar, and the other one was like his former partner in crime.
Yeah.
Dai and Ryosuke.
Yeah.
So Ryosuke and Dai.
Mm-hmm.
This is a relationship that I absolutely read as having a queer undertone because mostly on Dai's side, I read it as Dai was in love with Ryosuke.
Yeah,
the way he refers to him as a plaything, the way like no one is allowed to have him but me. He's mine and mine alone. It was the language that they used. It was the performances on both sides, and I think on Ryosuke's side there might be some sort of like lingering under attraction, but it's just because of the life that they led together that he wants to break off from is why he's keeping his distance.
Yeah,
that's how I read it.
And especially they really went like the tragic lovers almost with the fact that Ryosuke had to kill him after he basically became undead.
Yeah,
at the end of the show. God, VR was so good. Jesus Christ.
I'll take any opportunity I can to lift up VR and sing its praises.
Such a good show.
It's a fantastic show.
But yeah, especially in this show, it really feels like they were going that extra mile. We're really going to show this because they had another fairly short, just like an androgynous model.
There was another non-binary character who they called them genderless in the show, and it's that other model who Kozuki kills with a knife.
Yeah,
with the spring-loaded knife.
Yeah,
great scene too.
So good. The show. I'll tell you after, but yeah.
Would you like to bring up the big one you were talking about?
Inoue has this thing where he will treat everybody the same, and he likes to sort of bring these different perspectives and different styles of people who, have different sexualities and stuff into his works. We really saw this. We saw this a little bit in Ryuki, but they really go into it into Rider Ryuki with Kamen Rider, as I said. But in Dawn Brothers, they are really doing this. And it really feels like, especially because they have a character song together, Don Momotaro's and Sonoi, the blue one from the show. Their relationship really reads as a romance. And their character song is a romantic one.
Oh.
I will show it to you after. It's a great song.
Okay.
But yeah, the way that they interact with each other, and it really feels a little bit more on Sonoi's side, but you can, it's very tropey when they're together. It's just super, awkward.
I was gonna say, what do you mean by tropey?
It's awkward. It's a little bit adorable. Sonoi really doesn't know how to act around him in some cases. Like Sonoi kills him at one point, but tells him how to get him back like an episode or two later.
Yeah.
But that was more out of obligation. But they're back on good terms now. I really can't wait to see what Inoue does with their relationship going forward, and I really hope that that Sonoi doesn't die in this case.
Don't bury your gaze in this case.
Yes, do not do that in this show. Like, you can kill people, we've done it. That's happened a couple of times so far in this show, but just don't do it to these two. I want to see what happens with their relationship going forward. It's honestly, it's portrayed fairly well. It doesn't feel like we're just doing this just for the sake of doing it. And knowing it gets sort of weird sometimes when he actually could focus on something. And like when he cares about the characters, it really shows in the way that they're portrayed in the show proper. And I really feel like we're at that point with these two, and I can't wait to see how their relationship evolves, especially if we get a V cinema that's, you know, more
focused on them. Yeah,
focused on them and is more adult, so they can actually, you know, do something with that relationship.
What if their V cinema was just a date?
That'd be amazing. Although, to be fair, we sort of had that in an episode already.
There's another one, a nicer one.
But yeah, those two together more than anything, I'm just saying, I really want to see how their relationship goes going forward. I want to see what the new is going to do with them and how just they're going to mesh, because they're really awkward together and it's adorable. So I'm so excited to see what they're going to do. Tentatively excited to see what they're going to do as the show goes along. Because Dawn Brothers has been fun. It's been a good time. And their relationship is sort of one of the things, I'm not going to say it's driving me, because everything in the show is really driving me to continuously watch it. But
it's a cherry on top.
Yeah, it's really a cherry on top for the show proper. Yeah.
Well, would you like to discuss where you would not want it to go?
Dead.
There you go.
There you go. That's really all I don't want. Also, don't string us along. That's the main thing.
Give it definitive resolution.
We're getting this also in Revice right now with Sakura and Hana. Because their whole relationship, that's sort of an issue, because their story has sort of resolved already in there. They're just sort of sticking around.
Oh, well.
Sakura and Hana, they really read as like a lesbian relationship just waiting to happen. And I think everybody has read it as such. But they're not really doing anything with it. It's like, oh, we're going to give you a little tidbit. Here you go. Ooh. But I understand, once again, it is aimed for an older kids audience. They do have their own B cinema coming out. And they'll probably have another one. Well, I think it's like a Tokusatsu fan club video. Where it's sort of a short. But I'm hoping they get their actual own V cinema showing their actual relationship. I'm not going to say we don't need to see everything. We don't need another Ride Tamarayuki. But I would like to see, you know, some confirmation.
If it's done well.
It
couldn't hurt.
If it's done well, sure. But yeah, I'm really hoping they actually do something with this. If not at the end of the show in a couple of weeks, just give us a V cinema. Or maybe even next year's movie to do something with it.
Moving forward in the Toku genre as a whole, is there anything you'd like to see from queer representation? Aside from just more of it.
If you're going to do it, yeah, I honestly think they were sort of getting there. Just don't make it a joke.
In the words of George Michael, if you're going to do it right.
Yeah. And do it respectively.
Of course.
Respectfully. There you go.
Of course.
Yeah, it's just don't have it as a one-off character or something like that. Don't have them come in as a trope to be made fun of.
Also, I said this before we started recording, but there is a trope that I've noticed more recently specifically in anime, where you'll bring a queer character in, and the only reason they seem to be there is to fall in love with a character who is straight, or at the very least wouldn't be interested in them romantically.
Yeah, perceived as straight.
Yeah, and that is a problem.
I agree.
It's just like, okay, well, we know it's not going to work out because we know this person wouldn't be interested in them romantically, so why are you even doing this?
Pretty much.
And sometimes it's because, I mean, a show that just recently ended, Love After World Domination, Toku-themed anime that I really, really loved, it's guilty of this too. And, yeah, it's a problem, but one that can be fixed.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how I feel.
Yeah. Not everybody has to be attracted to anybody else. I would just bring the character in or something. And have them be recurring. I just wanted to be treated respectfully. That's about it. And also just do something with Sonoe and Don Momotaros. That's all I want. At the end of the day, I want some confirmation of that relationship because it reads so romantically.
Last episode, kiss.
Yeah, time to. But yeah.
I think that'll do it.
Let us know what you think about this topic in the comments below. Don't forget to join us all the things, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.
Thank you for watching.